Coaches, Rick Stewart of All Access Coaching. I'm really excited to bring you this free video, and make sure you hit the subscribe and like button down below. It gives us valuable data as far as what coaches want. And also, if I can get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll start doing weekly YouTube clinics for free. And if you hit the like and subscribe button, you'll get notified when we upload new content. We're uploading 3 or 4 videos every week.
And I start with Clemson because, I mean, if you can run it against them, you can run it against anybody. And this is why it's sound. I think Brett Venables is as good as they get. Just in terms of giving you different looks, making things confusing for the overall up front, just changing things and manipulating things to the second level, not giving you any tendencies. I mean, he does a lot of good things and makes us pay a lot of attention during the week. But as you can see here, just doubling and pressing up. And I'll go through the rules. So we got 50 front. Oh, we got 2 off the edge, right? So we're going to go ahead and give that push call. We know it's an odd front. That's why we want to treat it by identifying. And usually we're going to start with the nose guard, and that's going to be the first indicator of an odd front. But there's some, Kennesaw State does a lot of good things in terms of manipulating the front on defense. There's always going to be indicators, right? There's only 11 variables on defense. So if we study film enough, we can pick up on the things. But just out of a base look, this is really just an odd front. So we're going to be working up there. And he's got the B-gap defender of these two. So just to understand our rules, we call it like a sift technique. If he's the B-gap defender, I'm going now to wash him. And I got to take a step vertical now, get my head across and be able to get that wash so that hopefully we can get him past where the ball is snapped. Ball's here and presses vertical, right? Somebody's got to be the B gap, somebody's got to be the C gap, somebody's got to be the pitch player. So it's just kind of, the tackle knows pre-snap based on the alignment, understand that we're running zone to the boundary there, that he's got one of those 2 individuals. And just so you understand, the rules marry up. If we had a tight end in there, we were running, our track zone, so to speak, not our split zone, but our track zone. I mean, those 2 would be responsible for those 2. So we're just marrying up our rules. It just makes it a little bit difficult on the tackle. That's why we recruit a special athlete to do this type of thing. He's got to be able to get vertical on the first step and maintain that gap best he can. And that's about as good as we can ask him to do. I want him going more vertical on the first step, the left tackle. But that's not a bad job. Left guard needs to gain more ground on the first step. Good job displacing that guy. And we talk a lot about, hanging on to this double team as long as possible, right? When does he declare? When do we have to come off? Well, this guard understands if I get a pre-snap look over there and that's my backer, I'm working to odd front. He knows I'm working to these 2. He knows that I can stay on a lot longer. And that's what we're talking about week to week. That's why, I emphasize, expect your kids to understand the basics in terms of, X's and O's. That's just, it's for defenses essentially. You'll play some people that give you some different looks, but understand base defense so you can understand what you need to do to play faster, to play more physical, to gain an advantage. Because when you're playing, especially when you're playing guys like this, every advantage is crucial. He knows that he's a smart kid, not my best athlete, but knew that he could hang on that double team a lot longer, pressed it until he came off at the last minute. Really waited essentially for the center to take him over. And so he does a really good job working against, odd front. These guys know that I'm solo, right? They have to know pre-snap, and that's different. I want our footwork to look the same as if it's any other scheme. So he needs to approach that like it's a double team, right? Like my right tackle, my right guard, they're aiming points. Technically, I would say normally right. They need to press to the zone side shoulder. When they know they're solo based on scheme, we're really going to step more down the middle and then tight reach, but work to stay square. Because at the end of the day, here again, it goes back to being a man scheme after 3 to 5 steps, 1.5 to 2 seconds, so to speak. Running back doesn't see this quite as quickly, but does a really good job of eventually hitting the seam. But that's how it opens up against 50 defense. This D tackle is a 4 job. He's obviously the B-gap defender, and he gets reached. And here again, I'm telling my guys all the time, I don't want you to throw your butt in the hole. We usually don't get that's about as wide of an alley as the running back's ever going to get. So I don't. When it's a lot smaller than that and he's getting pushed back into by the 4 out of the 5 technique, he's going to make sure he maintains that gap as much as possible. But really good job overall. And of course, we know that we're reading 2 taking the dive, right? He's the B gap, he's the C gap. If they're ideal, well, then we're going to pull the football, but they're not ideal, right? They've got technically 3 in a gap, really 2 in a gap because one of them's the pitch player, but that's why we hand the football there. And we're we're a run-based team first, and I think that the option is really kind of one of our passes. I think a lot of option coaches have said that over the years. We want to hand the football first. I preach to my guys. That's got to be a 3-yard game. That's got to be automatic. We've got to be able to get 1 yard to push on the double team, and then Coach Romero, who does an incredible job, demands that his running backs are going to get us the extra 2. And that's That's who we are at the end of the day. And essentially, we really expect 5 yards, but there are some good players out there too, some good coaches. So you always got to account for that. Bull front's interesting. So we call this bull defense. I think Coach Lee referred to it as 7 diamond at Eastern New Mexico. We change up things. We will double the nose at times. We will double here at times. It depends on the matchups that we get. In this particular game, we were doubling the nose. Here again, essentially, you still want to block the guys that are assigned your gap, right? And Mike is going to be, about we're in the middle of the field here, but closer to the boundary A gap player. He's coming off and just being tight. Main thing I can tell you with the running back is you want to be tight as you can be. See the flow of the defense, see how they're fitting things. He's obviously reading the linebackers and how they're fitting, but he knows when he gets B, A, that he's going to be squeezing that thing as tight as he can off the tackle to come underneath the 6 technique. And of course, the quarterback is going to be reading the 6 technique. Even front, Chattanooga. Vertical right guard, first step, a little bit too much back into him there. And that's what I mean by like the importance of the fit, right? I mean, if you got to make sure that you're only going on half a man. Give that guy every bit, of surface area to get his head across, get movement and the like. Don't have a type 5 over here. You got to expect that he's here and he's scraping over the top now. So my left tackle understands I got to go a little harder and probably could have trusted a little bit more, right? Go get your head across, go a little bit more forward on the first step. And that way you get that wash, because I'm telling you, this is how they're going to fit us. And you get that wash 100 miles an hour. I mean, he's just scorching it through there. Really good job by the center working up. They kind of forced that issue a little bit and strong arm that guy, but I'm okay with it. We were really focused on being heavily on the double teams against Chattanooga. They got incredibly good D tackles. So we knew we'd have to put some extra emphasis on getting movement on those guys. But here again, he understands. Center works up. Tight with a running back, and he's able to squirt through there. A little bit different look here with a tight end and a wing tight end. Trust the steps right, center. He picks back. Easy for the guard. I got him. Now I got to press vertical. Stay square, right? Here again, I don't want to put my tail in the hole because that's clogging things up, right? He wants to work to stay square. He knows that. He's doing a good job of working it. Press tight. It's actually a really good example of good defense and a really good job by the running back being patient, right? He's trusting us. We're trusting him. Left tackle getting a little bit on him, but here again, I did a poor job coaching in 2018, making sure we understood, I want to get a heavy shot and then come off of that guy because we're not running the ball over here. Get movement on the double team. Make this linebacker think he's in a bind, not allow him to understand where the fit's coming, especially now that we're doing it more under center, where his fit could potentially be over here. It changes things up a little bit for him. So they're giving us just head up twos. We don't see this often. It's actually the only time I've seen it in 2 years we've been here. Is Wyoming played the first half against us with the head up 2 techniques. Trust the steps, right? He should look no different than the center against a 50 front. Vertical with the first step, and then it sorts itself out. He's over there, takes him over. Blake works up the center. And then my left tackle does a really good job of seeing pre-snap. Number 7 is my fold player. I'm attacking the inside pad, and I'm gonna come off quickly and be able to get that extra blocker. That extra defender. My biggest thing here is I want him to go to the inside pad now. Understand the play, understand where it's hitting. It's going to hit inside of you, get your head across. Definitely left tackle to be much more square. Pretty good job on my right guard, pressing vertical. Get 2 in the gap there, 45 and 98 pads, or 96 or 98 pads back the wrong way. He's able to turn back on him. Here again, it turns into man after 3 to 5 steps. So where they fit is where they fit. So that's your defender. After that, it's the equivalent of a scramble drill in the box. 2 Gs, or really 2 A-gap defenders. They're kind of playing a true A-gap there. You're going to step play side on the across your face. Easy by the center here, right? I got 2 A-gaps. I know I'm attacking the play side A-gap, period, the end. He's going to end up being solo. He's checking, but he's got the inside of those 2, the B-gap defender of those 2. Really good job by the left tackle. I check, I press vertical on the first step, I maintain that gap, and then work up and end up blocking 2. So sometimes we do ask him to block 2, but it's essentially we're asking you to run your path, your track, and then press your head play side. You look at a little bit more movement by the center and the right guard here, but not bad. Tackling the tight end, do a really good job here, getting sorted out right. He presses vertical, he picks across, good here, so I'm up here. Double here, trust your steps and work up. Defense will tell you where they're going to fit. We just got to get more movement initially here. Across the board, really. Right guard needs to get his head across, but he's a big bulldozer, muscle guy. So he can do that at times, but always want to harp on him about technique. Technique's going to win in the end. Oh, we talked about it, right? You see my center? Y'all might not believe me. Y'all think we're going to double the A gap regardless one way or the other. Nope. They've got some type of indicator, and I can't remember what it was in this game, but he knows I'm going over to check the eagle, and I'm pressing vertical. And it could have been, actually, I know what it was. It was as simple as we were calling him a G, calling him a 2I, and so we're going to go ahead and check the A gap play side if we know we're getting 2I. Really good job by the right guard trusting his steps. He's over and up, pressing that zone side shoulder, but then goes vertical on the second step, keeps heavy on the double team because look at his linebacker, right? Just turned into essentially a power scoop. I need my center to go ahead and get his head across because if he's over here, he can't be right. Running back's going to make us right. Really good job by the tackle coming off. Tight end needs to be a little bit more vertical, no different than we do at times. But they're doubling that guy to whoever the defender is. And I can't, hear pre-snap, right? What's my tackle thinking? What are we coaching up during the week? Well, he knows he's probably not working the number 9. I'm getting an even front, typical look. So they're giving us a little bit of a different kind of a cover 4, a little bit of a man scheme. But in any case, he's got 2 down in the box. He doesn't really know. So trust your steps. He's over. Oh, who's my fold player? Well, there comes number 5. Everything gets sorted out in the first 3 to 5 steps. Trust our steps. Get movement on the double team. Tight end could be better, but they're still getting movement out of 48, right? Vertical, and he comes off to number 5. Now, here again, back to what I said in the first presentation. That's the one that we got to beat.
Coaches, I really hope you got some great information from that YouTube video. Again, hit the subscribe and like button down below. It gives us valuable data. And if I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll do free YouTube clinics. And you also get notified when I'm doing those YouTube clinics and when I upload new content to this channel. Thanks for watching, coaches.